there too. We saw Paul Dornhofer up there all the time too. Played a lot of golf with him. Great guy.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions?
The direct front wheel assist, you had so many years advantage with all the other companies. I mean, they built what, 500 using front wheel assist? Was the early 70s a tougher time in the economy where maybe tractors weren't selling as well? Late 70s, I know farming got really bad, but was that a tougher time? In the mid 80s, farming goes up and down.
I think Oliver certainly was a leader in front wheel assist. There's just no question about that. I think part of it was because of the cast iron bathtub. A lot of them didn't have that structure going up to the front. And I remember, I don't know, John, Oliver had that growing old program. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Massive marketing campaign. They go to do these field demonstrations. And I remember reading an article in one of the magazines on some trip long ago where a guy went to one of these shows and they had a regular two-wheel drive, singles, two-wheel drive with duals, and a front set 18 gifters and like that. They had the same motor behind all of them, or cultivator, and they took off down the field at the same time. And they had them loaded up, and the one without duals got a quarter of the way down the field. One with duals got halfway down the field. One with front wheel assist one got 3/4 of the way down the field. This guy shared, he was young at that time, his dad was really able to own front assist. And so, understand that now you can't buy a two-wheel drive without it.
Well, in the early 70s, I started selling for my dad, and a lot of times the cost of the front wheel assist would allow you to buy the next larger horsepower tractor for the same money or a little less. The four-wheel drive just kind of added too much cost to the tractor. So the farmer says, well, wait a minute, I could use the extra PTO horsepower better, and it wasn't every year you needed the four-wheel drive for one. So for us,
Yeah.
so it was something new. We did that. Yeah.
So I have a question. So when I found this tractor on the internet, it was a white 2255, and I really didn't know what it was because I thought all of the red tractors sent to Canada had cock shut on them. They were a red cock shut Oliver tractor. So this was the first tractor that white they were starting to put their names on, I presume. Is that why it has white, not cock shut? Do you know, Bill, or?
No, I'm not sure on that, other than they were trying to, I think, transition to that
Yes.
white name for quite some time.
They were getting their, they were changing colors in '74. So that was my thoughts. Maybe this was their first, to get the white name on a tractor.
Well, when the 55 series first came out, John probably could talk to them. I remember when I interviewed there, and it was like in 70, and they told me this. Oliver was putting white on the side of some of the
Up on the nose.
55 series when they first came out. And Minneapolis Moon at the same time came with the 50 series, and they had that nose cone over the hydraulic tank. They had white up in there. Both disappeared quite quickly.
Yeah.
Field didn't want it, but still they were driving that white name. Right, wrong, or whatever, and I think that's the reason.
I want to interject with that, Dale. I think it had another thing you got to remind ourselves of. Remember the Heritage Series in the 70s? They actually did the red, white, and blue, and so they experimented with red paint then. And we know the cock shuts were before that were red. And I think, like Bill's saying, I think that was a way to tie in because we had Moleens and all this coming together. And I think red was like a little patriotic flair, you might say. And so I think that had, maybe part of that. The A4T, yeah, right. The Plainsman.
Yes, I have
was
it.
a plainsman.
Yes.
So my history tells me that, like you said you started in the Hopkins plant. Well, that was Moline country.
Yep.
And in Charles City, that was Oliver country.
Exactly.
And so now you have White Motor sitting here buying both of you. Okay, who's going to win the battle? And you going back and forth. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of infighting on who's going to make it.
That's where your wife comes from, see, from White Motor.
Yeah, correct. And then, who was the president at that time? He came from Ford. He created the Mustang, and that's where the boss. So we had the field boss, planner boss.
We were at that meeting and he was talking about that. Exactly. Yeah, that's where that came into where the white, the look in 74.
The hood emblem,
Yes.
hood emblem on the 4150, that is like a Lincoln.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
Ford hood on
yep,
it.
Dale. That's right. That's exactly right.
One more interjection. We sold a ton of 1855s. And the 1850 with the Perkins was just unbelievable. Lasted forever.
Bulletproof.
Go, bulletproof.
I agree.
1855s come out, you just changed engines instead of oil filters. See?
Well, you know what? Those were known as the Achilles. That was the Achilles heel. You know, for Oliver.
Yeah.
And I've said that over and over again. If they only would have just turbocharged the 354 like they did with the 105 in the 1855, I think we would have been more ahead.
But I have heard that Oliver was in financial trouble about that time and got in an argument with Perkins. So, and White Motor at that time still owned a large share of Waukesha. So, just for cost savings.
I always wondered, because I'm a Johnny come lately. I mean, I was born in 71, so I always wondered why or what happened there. Now that makes sense. See, I didn't realize that. Okay, because I wondered why that was the case.
That's the story I heard. We were at we won a Oliver trip to Hawaii, and we were talking to one of the old financial guys, and he said, yeah, Oliver actually slipped Perkins a bad check.
I'll be darned.
And so then to finish the contract for being sued, they kept the Perkins in the combines.
Oh.
They could use up the last of the contract engines. And then they said, well, we've got Waukesha under our belt, we'll just go to the Waukesha.
It takes coming to Booneville, Missouri for an Iowa boy to understand these things, you know, in 2024.
Do you know anything about that, John, and the reason why the average Perkins was dropped?
Everybody you talk to loved that in an 1850 and says the same. I mean, we all are in agreement with that, you know. And don't cut costs on an oil cooler. That was the Achilles heel. Yeah.
If you left your horsepower alone,
split pin bushings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two of them at home. One's got a reman motor in it, and the other one's got the field and the oil cooler underneath the filter. So yeah,
I've got one of them.
And with the certified horsepower, it was pretty great because everybody started fibbing on how much power they had. But we were in 160-acre dairy country, and so 1650s we sold hundreds of them. It seems like. But
Oh yeah.
60 gas on the 9 would give you about 80 horsepower. So they were just a great tractor.
That-
And the diesels, you know, they just worked.
The dairymen loved the 770 and the 1550 and the 1650. I mean, the 770 had a long run for the dairy guys. They loved that.
John, do you know why certified horsepower was dropped? Did you hear why?
No, I often wondered, but I never did know why.
Okay.
I heard they run out of stickers.
Probably something like that.
Well, now I got a question for you two. We've got the Spirit of Oliver now. Could we have a tribute to do a Spirit of 2255? I'd almost sign up for one.
Well, we was real pleased with the way the 2255 turned out.
Well, I'm just over the moon that you're both here again, and we need to do this again. We need to keep this up because good people and good tractors are what it's all about.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know if I should make this comment or not, but I always felt that more 2255s should have been sold than were. And I think the thing that held it back is the cab was really coming on at that point in time. And that was kind of a weakness. It had just difficult entry and exit.
Everybody agrees with you, Bill. Once you're in it, you love it. But as we get older and that, it's just
fall out of it.
it's a little narrow getting in them, isn't it? Yes, yes.
On that thing. But I mean, you know, with the
Yeah,
angled
they're
front,
good in the field, but if you use it for a feedlot tractor, they're too hard to get in and out. You get the gate closed before the cow run out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Getting back to the front wheel assist thing, I got one in my neck of the woods, and everybody says, "What the hell do you want that for?" And I said, "Well, you'll find out why." So I was way ahead of everybody else in my neck of the woods. So yeah, I love mine. I got a 22 front wheel.
you take a tractor like this one right behind us. What's that worth in the market today, would you say? That's how valuable this property.
I sold a 74 restored green 2255 the other day, and I popped off 30,000. The guy got his checkbook out and just signed it just like that. for a
So now,
two-wheel drive.
now Dale, is that better than a 4020 deer? Resale wise?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Years ago, a new tractor was $1,000 a horsepower. Okay? Now, after the pandemic, it was $1,300 a horsepower. So to buy this horsepower, new, you're going to spend $200,000, but you're going to get auto steam with it and everything with it, right? So if a person said, let's go back to a basic and build this brand new, kind of curious what it would cost to build that exact tractor. Instead of $200,000, could it be $80 grand and people buy it again? I don't know.
Well, there's less plastic.
That's right.
We need,
Electronics.
you know, they say there was 1,500 chips in a half-ton pickup and 3,000 chips in a
Putting death on it, man.
you know, these
Things
tractors, they got anything we don't need. Do you have time for a little story?
We have time as long as you two gentlemen want to talk. We've got excellent questions.
If Greg and I could create time, we would right now.
I have to tell you now, the first assignment John gave me when I got assigned to the project, and you probably don't remember this, John, but it was redesigning that lift arm on a 3-point hitch, because on the 2150 it was side cantilever mounted. I think they tended to wear out, so it was to kind of straddle mount the lift arm like on a category 2 hitch. So that was not a big assignment, but here's what you told me, John, and I don't know if you remember this, and I've never forgotten it, but you talk about what the stress of the load and what it would take, and you said this: envision the cross section and what size bubble that would support. And if you change the larger that of a bubble that cross section would support, the better the design. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I said it right.
Well, and it all comes down to the amount of area for the wear. See, if your area is down and your load's up, then your wear is going to be up. And if you get that balance too far out, then the next thing you know, things are wearing out way before they should.
Yeah, you don't get the design life.
Yeah.
See, that's the kind of thing that us as collectors and users like to hear, because you had thought behind the process and made stuff to endure and last, and it's proven because we're here today talking about it.
Right.
So,
right.
yeah,
It
that's,
makes a difference.
oh yes.
Was there any thought, so we weren't selling the front wheel assist, but John Deere International had the differential lock. So we sold a ton of moldboard plows, and on wet years, the driest ground was in the furrow. So they, you know, everybody else kind of had a little advantage with the differential lock. Why we didn't put one in, it took till the 2135 to get that.
They did, yeah.
Yeah, we were arrested.
Yeah. You got me there. I'm not up to date on that.
Okay, and then the first John Deere's in '74, the 4430, they actually shipped them with cardboard around the cab, because all the dealers were supposed to open them on one special day. We were coming home from a tractor pull one night at a truck stop, and there was a load of the new tractors. So So we hopped up there with a 10 snip.
That's how that happened. I always wondered.
Cardboard,
Oh boy.
But that round cab, and that was fantastic. When Lake on the 2105 come out with that cab, yeah, that would increase sales quite a bit. Oh, definitely.
Which one of you two, or maybe it was the Caterpillar engineer, redesigned the tub for the extra width and size for the V8?
That would have been another design engineer working under John.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember that guy.
Well, it's the same tub you used on the Detroit, wasn't it? Or pretty close?
No, the tub for the cat engine is for the cat engine.
Specific for the cat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got the oil filter and
Yeah,
things like
actually, I
that.
had the whole thing.
And width, it's wider. And
They made sure the starter would come out, right?
yeah.
That's tight. That's tight.
Did you guys have any concerns with putting the 3-speed behind the cat engine as far as durability on the 3-speed? Was there any concerns there for the 3-speed holding up?
I don't remember any.
Yeah. You know that the 4150, that's why the 4180 didn't have the 3-speed, because they were concerned about horsepower, tearing it up.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they had that. Apparently not, because they put it in. So.
Yeah.
John, how did that horsepower get set up to 140 or 145? What was the determining factor there?
Well, if you look at the tractors and the horsepower and so forth, like you're building a ladder, then that's how to establish that.
So I got a question, John, because
Okay.
we have the privilege to ask you, and so thankful to have you here, and this is tremendous. But you know what? I've been fortunate to judge FFA projects at the state fair, and we kind of have a suggested question. We just ask the kids the same kind of thing, and obviously it is a project, and you've been through it now, and we've got the testimonial, and we're here in 2024. But after going through and doing that, if there's one thing you could do differently, what would it be? If you could go back to when they were being designed, is there anything you'd change on it? Just or maybe 5 things, I don't know. Is there anything that comes to your mind that you would have done different?
Well, based on information that I've received recently, there was evidently some weakness in the top part of the transmission,
Okay,
and we were not aware of that at the time.
interesting.
Yeah, I
And
go
so-
with the shaft on mine, the top, put the 2 gears welded together.
And
Low range.
So was that due to lubrication?
if we would have known about that back then, we would have taken care of it back then.
You bet. And that's a challenge for any engineer. We're certainly just, because you're not going to know at the time. You do the best, and you guys did an awesome job. I mean, we're thankful for what was done, but that's got to be a challenge. But that's why you have updates and refinements through the process. So
Hindsight's wonderful.
yeah, isn't it though? It's nice that we can talk about hindsight now,
And
but
it's accurate.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're not guessing then.
With Oliver, was there any pressure from top management that you're spending too much money, the tractor won't sell for that? You got to figure out how to save a few bucks?
Oh yeah, we're always getting beat on the head because it costs too much.
Yeah.
That had to be a challenge.
Yeah. And
These tractors are 50 years old now, so you think the stuff being built today is going to be reflected 50 years from now?
Well, I bet their engineers won't be around to talk about it.
The owners said they're going to be good for 50 years. They're probably going to say, we don't need them that good. We don't have to buy new tractors.
You bet.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. Great discussion. We appreciate you taking the time for this interview. This is just tremendous.
Absolutely.
To have this amount of knowledge here from 50 years ago, as he said. So,
I've got one more question.
we'll take one more question, and then we'll let each of them, if they have any closing comments.
The Fender fuel tanks, I heard a farmer designed that, and Oliver bought the right from him to put that on, or was that an Oliver design? because everybody loves Fender fuel tanks.
To the best of my ability and knowledge, that was pure Oliver design.
Pure Oliver design.
Here, I figured they did that for the collectors.
Yep.
You know, the salvage yards years ago, the tractors would come in and they pull them fender fuel tanks off and they'd throw them on the ground and nobody would ever buy
Isn't
them.
that something?
And they'd crush them. Now,
Yeah.
them things are $500 to $1,000 for a set
Yep,
of fender fuel
that's the
tank.
way it goes, you bet.
Any closing comments, gentlemen? Have you enjoyed the show?
It's a great show, and I enjoyed the visit here. Because it's nice to hear after you design something and it goes out in the field and breaks down or doesn't break down, you know, you get an accurate report. And a lot of the information that you get that we work in engineering, we're getting, I'm going to say, windy reports. People wanting things, or people saying things that are true, or people saying things that aren't true, or I've had this tractor and this, and that, and the other. So I appreciate this. Thank you guys.
We do too. This has been awesome.
Bill, any closing statement?
No, I agree with what John said. It's a nice to meet with John again.
Yeah, long time.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You bet.